much anticipation leading up to this new film. What are you most excited for fans to see?
I'm just excited to see. I'm excited for fans to see the extension of the first film. I'm excited because in the first film it was, you know, they were a fake couple falling in love, and in this film they get to be a very real couple. But of course there has to be a little bit of a plot, otherwise nobody would want to watch it. And you get to see them as a real couple being challenged by a very real circumstance, ergo John Ambrose. And for the fans that are diehards of the book series, I'm just so excited for them to be able to see the second installment acting out as a film. You know, I'm sure I've read series and seen series and book turned to films, and it's very exciting. So I'm just happy to be able to bring something like that to some people.
In what ways has your character Peter changed from the first film to the second, and in what ways has he changed to the same, or stayed the same?
I feel like Peter's pretty similar throughout the first and the second. He makes he makes similar mistakes in the second. I think his arc is more so understanding the gravity and the realness that comes with a relationship, that you must sometimes break someone's heart. That relationships are not always just fun and games and perfect and oh so great. Like, they're hard. You got to work at them, and you got to communicate, and you got to go through rough patches. And I think he ups his romance game in this one too.
There are a few new faces in the film, most notably Jordan Fisher and Ross Butler. Tell me what it was like working with them.
I've known Ross for a little while. I actually lived with Ross for 2 months, and then a year later, or a couple months later, he was like, I'm going to come to Vancouver and be in your film, and that was really, really exciting. And then Jordan I've known since I was 15, so having two people that I'm friends with come and hang out in Vancouver, and they just knock it out the park. I mean, when you see this film, like, I swoon every time Jordan comes on camera, and I die laughing every time Ross is on camera. Ross is just the king of the one-liners. Did you see it?
Yes.
I mean,
so funny.
He is ridiculous when he's so good.
You filmed the second and third films back to back. What was it like reuniting with everyone and spending all that time with them?
It's like summer camp. It's like summer camp. Jordan was really good at getting us together. Jordan would host game nights, and we would just go over there and play games and get together and connect and laugh and exchange stories. It really created a warm and ever-present sense of camaraderie amongst all of us.
To All the Boys isn't your typical teen rom-com. What do you think makes this story so appealing?
Well, of course, everyone's speaking about representation. It's not every day that, people break stereotypes. So when the first film came out, I think it was a big win. Crazy Rich Asians did the same thing. But it's so unfortunate that that's something that needs to be broken, and it's not normalized already. But there's something very special about the films that push the agendas and push and break vanguards to new territory. And so I think that's one of the reasons it's very special. Another, it's so stylized. It looks interesting. It's like it's pop. The colors pop, and it's a very digestible, inhalable way of sharing true romance.
What do you hope audiences will feel or take away from the film?
Hopefully that you can form a concrete belief and then have that belief taken away or destroyed somehow, and it be for the better.
Team Peter or Team John Ambrose?
Man, I'm Team Peter for now, but I'm Team John Ambrose for the end game.
There's so much anticipation leading up to this new film. What are you most excited for fans to see?
I'm most excited for fans to see Lara Jean kind of come into her own a little bit more and kind of find her voice and her confidence and grow. That's the most exciting. And then I'm excited for people to see Jordan because I think he's amazing.
In what ways has your character, Lara Jean, changed from the first film to the second? In what ways has she stayed the same?
In what ways that she stayed the same, her style is just as eccentric as the first, and she is, her anxiety is still there, and she's still very much lives in her head, and she's like, it's constant like running dialogue in her head. And things that I think are different is that she just kind of harnesses her voice a little bit more, and she is more okay with taking up space, because I feel like in the first movie she was much more quiet and kind of drawn into herself, and I think in the sequel she just takes up a little bit more space, and she's just growing as a young woman, and it's exciting to see. So yeah.
There's a few new faces in the film, most notably Jordan Fisher. Tell me what it was like working with him and what makes him the perfect John Ambrose.
Listen, he is the perfect John Ambrose. We read with so many people, and all shapes and sizes and colors, and I talk about this all the time. When I read with Noah, when we chemistry read in the first movie, I knew, as soon as I read with him, I knew, that's Peter Kavinsky. This is the connection that I know, that's him without a doubt. I had that same feeling when I read with Jordan, and I didn't have that. He was the only person I felt that with. He is just so charismatic, and he said in the chemistry, he said, I just want to give John Ambrose a hug. And I was like, and that was even before he read, and I was like, that's it. That's who I thought John Ambrose was, is someone that I just wanted to give a hug and to love. And he's just amazing, and he's so kind and charismatic and joyful, and he's just wonderful. And I can't wait for everyone to see his work, because like the moment he comes on screen, you're like, ah! Yeah, so it's awesome.
Another new face. What was it like working with Holland Taylor?
Legend, icon. She's amazing. She is just a seasoned professional, and it was just really refreshing because she kind of represents this kind of female, like older female, kind of a mother figure, because Lara Jean lost her mother, and she doesn't have that kind of like mother figure in her life. And so working with Holland was so amazing, because one, it was just like a lesson in acting every single day, and she's so connected, and she's so present, and so funny, and questions everything, and that was just so refreshing to see and awesome. And she was just very, very giving. Like, you know, we spent long hours together, and everything. She's just giving. She's a giving actress, and I hope, like, I love her career, and I hope I get to work as long as she does, that she has, but it's just really inspiring to see someone that's so incredible.
You filmed the second and third films back to back. What was it like reuniting with everyone and spending all that time with them?
Oh man, we did do it back to back, 2 and 3. It was like coming home, because, you know, the first movie, like the exposure of the first movie was, we didn't realize that was going to happen. And so all of a sudden, all of our lives were shot into kind of a whirlwind. And so the first table read, when we were all back together again, was like a big sigh of relief, because it was all on common ground, and we were all together before anything happened. So it felt like coming home. And, you know, even though we did 1, 2, and 3 in a fairly short period of time, it's only been like 2 years, I think, like all together. We've all grown so much as individuals, and our characters are also growing as well. So being able to watch each other grow up as our characters are growing up was really, really cool as well.
To All the Boys isn't your typical teen rom-com. What do you think makes this story so appealing?
I think what makes it so appealing is it's kind of like drinking like a warm cup of chicken noodle soup on a rainy day. Like, it's just a comforting, relatable, the world that we've built looks and represents the world and the way that it looks out in the real world, which is awesome. So I think that, you know, people can see, they believe it more, because it just looks, it's colorful and beautiful, just like our world. And I think that there's a softness, goes back to the chicken noodle soup and that comfort. There's a softness to the movie that is like palpable, and when you watch it, you can't help to have your heart like melt a little. And it's easy to have like a cold, hard heart. today. And so, like, to have that kind of melt a little, I felt that, and I hope other people felt that, but people didn't realize they needed to giggle. Like, when do we giggle in real life a lot, like on our day-to-day? And you do that in the movie, and you kind of, like, feel like you had a warm cup of soup. So, yeah, I think it's soft, and it breaks people down a little bit.
What do you hope audiences will feel or take away from the film?
I hope that they take away that whatever you choose to do with your body at whatever time and with whomever, that's your choice. I hope they take that away. And I hope they also take away, I know that they'll love the love triangle. I hope that they laugh a ton at Kitty, because I think she's so funny. I know they will.
And finally, are you Team Peter or Team John?
No, I hate this question. I'm very happy. I want to say I'm Team Lara Jean. That's my answer.
Where's the buzz?
Oh,
Where is the buzz? You said
We used to be
was
a singer.
mine.
Where is the buzz?
Ooh.